Ericom, the cybersecurity unit at Cradlepoint. How's it going, Jeff?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on, Peter.
So, one of the most common ways that organizations get breached or your personal information gets compromised is via phishing. So, I thought it'd be pretty cool to show what happens with our solution when a phishing email comes in and then sort of the subsequent kind of actions that are taken after the fact, and then show a little bit about how it looks in the administrative GUI. You ready for that, Jeff?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So I'm going to move you so you got your layout here. And I understand you got a urgent email, Jeff.
Yeah, let me just preface here. This isn't an actual real urgent email, but this is something that you and your customers may get. There's plenty of phishing emails and all sorts of communication via Teams, via Outlook, via anything you can imagine. And as these links come in, we want to make sure that our customers are protected. So sure enough, as busy as we are every day, I'm going to, as a normal user, just go ahead and click on this. It's urgent. It's a VPN update. And I use VPN at the customer site. I know I need to update my VPN client. Someone was hinting at it a couple weeks ago, I think. Peter, you probably got the same update, right? So
Yep.
Yeah, let me look
Giroux.
at this. Urgent, download file, then install, right? Now, an IT kind of fake email might have a little bit more legitimacy to it, maybe a little bit more detail. Contact IT security for more questions, and there'll be a bogus email. But the point is, it's being obfuscated here. So I'm getting a link. It's urgent. It's immediate. It's something I must install. And sure enough, I'm just going to go through. Johnny clicks a lot. I'm going to click really fast and click on that VPN file because I need to update. Now, let me pause real quick because a safe, secure user would look at the lower left, hover over that. Notice that we got a little random file there link. That's an ICAR link, and we set this up to be purposely triggered with the ICAR signature set. So I'll warn you right now, my proxy is configured on my browser. It's easy to do with light IT administration settings. You can blast this out through group policy to all your users. So right away, when I click on this link, I'm going to get protected. We're going to go through the proxy, and sure enough, it identifies it as a high-risk site. And off to the right, you can see that the download is occurring up in the cloud and being scanned. And sure enough, there is some type of malware in there. In this case, it's the ICAR sample file, but we can see that the file was blocked. So as an end user, I thought I was getting this VPN file. I needed to download it and install it. And if I would have installed it, who knows what would have happened. In this case, again, it's a fake ICAR file, but if it's a true malware that got through your system, your security systems, then users are going to be clicking because they do. There's stats that show it. Peter, you said this in a recent video. Do you recall the stats? I'm going to poke over on this other one. Maybe you can highlight the crowd on that.
So the phishing stats, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
so, yeah, you know, like, I think. Yeah, even after all of the user training and things like that, it still seems that at least 5% of folks that are out there still got an itchy clicker finger to then, and you know, it happens too. You might be in a hurry, you might be stressed that day or whatever. And for those of you who don't know, ICAR, which is EICAR.org, is actually a site by the European Institute for Computer Antivirus Research. And instead of using real malware, they kind of put a little signature in the files to allow you to test your antivirus software. So we're doing it the safe way. We don't want any active exploding malware happening. So just for your purposes, you know, if you need a file to just test your antivirus solutions, icar.org is the place to go. So these are the logs, aren't they, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can come in here right away, real time. I was testing this earlier. So if we hit refresh, you'll see that the latest hit that I just did, user one, of course, this is tied into the entire solution is IDP. I didn't mention that, but we tie into Okta and Azure. So your true credentials from your domain would come in. So if I logged in for real under my real tenant, I would have Jeff coming in, my website. And then sure enough, the type of action that was applied. And we can see that we were blocked by the antivirus scan. So there's a couple things too within all these logs that kind of help. And then we can also get a forewarning of what our policy would look like in terms of building a policy. So as we go up and analyze some sites, maybe we're not sure why that site was indeed blocked. We can go through and we have an analyzer to test our current policy before a user is subjected to the policy itself. So before you do rollouts, you can put some policies in. We can see here the domain itself is safe, but notice we have a URL policy subcategory as well, and we see that it's malware. So sure enough, this was marked as a high-risk site. And then what does that look like, and why did we stop it? Let's go look at our high-risk policy. So what we see here is a policy screen with different domains, different categories. At the top, I have a default catch-all. And if I open up my policy item per page, we can go find high risk, and we can point at the access policy for isolate. And what that does is gives us some additional browser control for clipboard. We can send the page into read only. So if there was some credentials that were trying to be entered on, say, iCar as a phishing site, we could keep your executive safe from blocking those credentials. But what we found in the iCar test was that we just did a antivirus scan. So these are all the various settings that we can do once we apply different policies based on the user acceptance policy at your organization. So that's a quick high level. We went through reports, the analyzer, and then of course the policy. So it's super easy to set up, I think. And if you need to adjust or fine tune, it's a matter of clicking plus and then defining a new subcategory and then off and run.
Wow. Pretty interesting demo. So we can, and then I think the other thing you talked about was like scanning files and that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah, sure. Let me hop over. We got another demo site for that. And we just plug this in for various demos with our customers, but the concept is the same. You could get a link that says, hey, go to this site and download these files to update your agents, right? In this case, we have a set of 10 different files, but this is the true power of isolation. Notice I haven't pointed this out, but I have this green frame bar up here and this other star asterisk. So this kind of identifies that we're in an isolation site. And if I want, I can fly out this debug panel for a little bit more info. And we could discuss that more in a deeper dive demo. Let me hide that for now. But maybe your use case is a recruiter and you're looking up Word documents for potential candidates and you get a link, right? Maybe you get a page and someone says, hey, download my resume. Well, this resume we know is a Word document, and it says right here with an exe attached. So if I click on this, again, our cloud containers in isolation mode up in the cloud are going to scan this file and see that there's something not Word doc native about it, right? There's something inside. So it's ripping apart the file. It's sanitizing it right now with malware and antivirus scanners. And then we're going to go through and content, disarm, and reconstruct, CDR, those three things. And we're going to get delivered a clean Word doc file without any of the exe embedded. So now I can download this file, which already happened. If I go click on this file, I know that it is safe and there's no exe file within there. So that's the quick demo on that. And you can
pretty neat.
Go through various other file types like that. True file, whether it's an exe and someone's trying to fool the system by changing it to a TXT. Right. So yeah, lots of different controls and security that we can apply there.
And even macros and Excel files, which have been,
yep,
nasties for over 20 years. Pretty cool stuff, Jeff. Really appreciate your time. Wow.
Yeah, definitely. So, thanks for having me on.
Read-only isolation. This is really we've been joking internally, like the only true zero trust is isolating the web content. And the more I see it, the more I believe that's true.
Yep, no doubt.
Cool. Well, appreciate your time, Jeff. Anything else you want to share? Hey, how do people find you? Do you got
I'm on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now. I'll leave some links in the description or the play video. I'm on LinkedIn, and of course I have some YouTube content out there as well.
Always got to promote your stuff, Jeff.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, a pretty interesting phishing demo and how you can isolate those kinds of intrusions and keep the malware and literally folks' credentials away from the bad guys. Cool. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Good to see you. I'm Peter.
Yep, you too, Peter.
And we're with Ericom, the cybersecurity unit at Cradlepoint, and really encourage you to like and subscribe.
Ericom, the cybersecurity unit of Cradlepoint. Visit us at www.ericom.com today.